Greetings, my loves, and welcome back to my channel, HADAR, the Love Beacon Restored. I am Love Loyal, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start talking about some of the things that we already covered, as well as go into a little bit about the past week or so that I've been having. So, what do we have? I believe we have an introduction about what HADAR, the Love Beacon Restored is about. We have an intro to the 3 R's: reveal, reassure, and restore. Then we go into reveal part 1, followed by reveal part 2. And then there is a special edition of Mother's and Father's Day that I posted on my Facebook channel. I was having some technical difficulties, and there's a couple of software programs that I need so that I can upload that video onto the YouTube channel, so it's accessible that way as well. So when I upload that video, you'll get a chance to review. It's a special edition of Mothers and Fathers and the differences that I saw on social networking sites when Father's Day came about versus when Mother's Day came about. So that's that video. Now, what have I been doing over the past couple of weeks, and why haven't I been posting? As I already mentioned, we need to get a POP program, a software program, so that I can upload the videos properly, including my awesome intro that I'm so excited about and I love to share with you guys, because inside of my intro, I'm not sure if you all have been paying attention, but my beloved Divine Mother, het-heru, has been featured in both the logo as well as the out or the ending clip before I begin to speak. And my Divine Mother is het-heru. A lot of people are familiar with who het-heru is by other names. So she goes by Hathor. She goes by other different similarities in different pantheons, and I won't go into that, but just know that het-heru is my Divine Mother. And a lot of the times when I create these videos, I try to take time out prior to speaking to really commune and connect with the spirit realm and ask them directly what is it that they want me to speak on specifically, and how can I be a voice of love in healing for others to follow. So I take this really seriously, and this is just not something that I'm just doing in my spare time. This is something that I try to live in my life, or I am living in my life. Remove try out of your vocabulary and say I am, but we'll go into that as well a little bit later on. So I've taken time away to reconstruct some different talking topics. I also met with my Sri Master Gano Grills and discussed some of the things that I could potentially bring up on my channel to cover some things deeply or on another level when it comes to things like spirituality 101, like the very basics, and what happens to you when you actually leave this lifetime. But again, those things that I'm talking about are like really, really further out for making videos about. I recently went to a wedding. Special shout out to my beloved friends She and Jaina. I just said She and Jaina, and I just blended their names together right now. But Sheena and Jay, I'm so proud of you all for taking that step towards marriage. And pretty much because I am from New York City, I've been just really trying to see if this is the place for me to be. I was born and raised here in New York City, and I spent some time away outside of the city, and I've gotten a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more spoiled with certain types of hospitality. So the past couple of weeks has just been bombarded with my spiritual progress. Where am I at in my life? Where do I want to take my professional and my career goals, and what moves do I make next? So when I'm focusing on things that have a lot to do with me, I tend to just do that and then give all of my energy and attention back to my audience when I'm 100%. Because as I mentioned, this is something that I am living. So I don't want to be out here on TV or a channel, YouTube, whatever, Facebook, social networking, period, talking about anything if I'm not doing it in my own life. That is extremely important to me. So again, that's why I use the term we. When we grow, let us grow. Let's grow together, because I'm also making strides to get to my full potential. And I would say that I'm about 85% there. I still have my issues. I still have things that I struggle with in my personal life as well as my professional life. However, I do believe that the obstacles that I have already overcome have made me a good person to talk about love and restoring love for yourself first, because I've been through that process already. I've been through the self-hatred. I've been through depression. I've been through, long suffering, trials and tribulations, not comparable to anyone else's life, but in my own, that has caused me some distress, some dysfunction, some bodily harm, all of the things that, quite frankly, we all do on some sort of level, So right now, I just feel that it's really important to focus on the fact that people are still holding other people accountable for their individual happiness. And because I attended the wedding and I've been part of weddings, I've been a bridesmaid, always a bridesmaid, never a bride, for a couple of my friends. However, and seeing the union, seeing the two people come together, it actually made me feel like this is a topic for discussion, like marriage. And yeah, you may say, you're not married, you've never been married, you shouldn't speak on topics of being married. However, I can do that. And the reason why I can do that is because I understand love. And if you understand love, you pretty much can have a blanket understanding of how things should function or work with others. So, a lot of times people have been getting married just out of the pure fact that they've been with the person for a long period of time. Some people get married because they are genuinely interested in building a relationship with that person, both physical, and romantically, emotionally. And then there's other people who get into marriages strictly for the benefits that they'll receive, or a business. It's a business opportunity. You marry me because you can do something for me, and I'm going to marry you because you can do something for me. And it may be just strictly business. I know a couple of people that's married like that, where there's not really necessarily a lot of love, or a lot of love didn't cultivate in the beginning, but as time went on and they, supported one another, they learned to love and fall in love with that person. So the things that I do have to say comes from my own personal experience. Although I haven't been married, I have been an avid witness of my mother and father's marriage. And as I said, they've been married for over 50 years now. So that's a lot for me to grow up and take in and understand. And I would say the very first thing about marriage is that if you are not ready to settle down with one person and commit to one person, or answer to one person, or consult with one person, then outside of yourself, then you should not get married. Marriage is about two people coming together and making their lives become one. You've lived separately. You realize that I want to become one with someone. So what does that mean? Now, okay, although I've never been married, I do have a logical understanding, and a rational one at that, to say, It's no longer about just getting up and doing whatever you want to do with your own money, your own time, your own thought process. It's about waking up in the morning and considering someone else before you go on about your day. Okay? So it's not a competition. You don't get married just to say that you're married and you have a ring so you can show all your girlfriends. Or you don't get married just to say to your boys, now I'm settled down and this marriage is going to make me do that. Because anything that you ever do in life, period, point blank, has to come from you, inside. Nobody on the planet can tell you what you need to do for you, because there's nobody on the planet that knows you better than yourself. Okay? So, don't get married unless you're ready to answer to someone every day. Wake up and see somebody's face every day. Committed to consulting, questioning, and conforming, and sometimes always compromising what you want versus what the individual who you've invited into your life wants. Okay? So, if you got that level of understanding, and regardless of what your business is, why you choose to get married, as long as you understand that those are the basic principles of what you're signing up for, you know, depending on the type of person, you may have a successful marriage. Okay? Another thing that I like to say when it comes to marriages, because if you're married, you're pretty much making a dedication to the world, or you're verbally saying with this piece of paper that I'm with you now, and I'm with you now forever, or until death do us part. Those are words that they actually put in the ceremony, right? So that's what you're signing up for, and you have to live to that to your best ability. And your best ability, because when you make that commitment in front of the crowd and all of these people are watching you, it's for the betterment of the both of your lives. Okay? So make sure you're ready. And if you're not ready, okay, tell the person that you're with that you're not ready and you need more time. And guess what? Even when you tell them, you may have to respect the decision that they may want to separate, you know, because in their mind and heart, they may have felt that they've invested already enough time into the relationship and they're ready to keep it moving. Me personally, I don't suggest that, because you should not just jump from relationship to relationship, because it's not healthy. You need to understand what you want, and you need to understand what you need from others based on what you want. Not, oh, tell me what to do, tell me how to live. And then that person lives how you tell them to live, and then they end up being a miserable person because they're not following what's genuinely in their heart. So that's that part. So another thing is, and I'm in a relationship right now. Again, to me, this is common sense stuff, but some things need to be said because we still have a lot of chaos going on in the world. And a lot of the chaos is coming from us, quite frankly. It's as much as we assume that somebody's supposed to do something for us. In that sense, we are being chaotic. You know, when we start taking responsibility for our own happiness and our own actions, then some of the chaos, not all of it, will start to settle. It'll get a little bit more clearer about what's going on with us as a people. So what I do, and I'm not saying that this will be effective for everybody else's relationship or marriage or whatever it is that you have going on with you and your partner or significant other, but reevaluate where you were and where you're at and where you're going as a couple. So say, for example, another reason why I had to take some time off is because I needed to really reevaluate my situation. Now, my boyfriend is in my life and I'm in his life. Although we still have separate lives, we do what we want because we don't have that marriage contract that dictates that we're going to solely be with these persons for the rest of our lives. We still come together and we discuss where we are at presently, where we've come from in our past, and where we are trying to go with our future. So I would say about every 3 to 6 months we do that. So we recently just came back, we reevaluated, and now we're moving forward with the goals that we have or we see fit in our current with our current circumstances. So that's something else. So we talked about the commitment of marriage. We talked about doing a review or meeting back with one another to discuss where you was at in the past in your relationship, where you're presently at, and where you're going in the future. And lastly, the last thing that I feel, some people might say I'm out of order, but the last thing I want to discuss is financial obligations. Like when you're in a relationship, or when you're even dating, to me, dating, relationships, those are kind of the time in which you decide if you can blend your two lives together. That's when you decide, are our attitudes compatible? Do you have goals? Do your goals match up with my goals? Are my goals going to conflict with your goals? That's what you're trying to do in between the dating relationship stages. And then if everything is running smoothly, then you're going and you're thinking about other topics like financial. Are you going to pay all my bills? Do you feel like you should be responsible for all your bills? Are we going to have more than one bank account? How are we going to establish a relationship once we decide to become married? These are the things that you should be talking about before you even get married. That way, if you have any objections in the duration of the dating relationship, you can iron those suckers out, or iron those items out that you guys don't agree on, and come to a compromise, so that when you go into a union and the two of you will become one, y'all already on the same page about elderly care, who's going to take care of whose parents, how we're going to manage a household, bank, who's going to pay what when, bringing children into a marriage. All of these things will be pretty much showcased and discussed before marriage. Okay? So, if you don't talk about those things, they can cause havoc in your relationship. And the third bullet that I wanted to go back on was the financial piece. Okay, the financial piece is like the number one reason why marriages fail. It's not adultery, it's actually money. And that leads me to believe that that wasn't a topic of discussion before people got married. Or there's been some adjustments and changes in the working situation after one has gotten married. Because there's a couple of situations like that too, where people go into relationships, get married, and then next thing you know, now that they're married, they're like, oh, I don't want to work anymore, honey. Woo, I'm sick. How you get sick? Why you can't work now? You gonna put all of that weight onto your husband or onto your wife, or because you're married now and she can take care of the financial obligations, or he can take care of the financial obligations? No. That needs to be worked out. You need to understand how you're going to run your household. And I tell people this all the time. Having a household, having a relationship with anybody you're going to have a relationship with, it's a business. Sometimes it could be all business, depending on what type of relationship it is. But in marriage, hopefully it's love first, then the business. But that is my time. I just want you all to think about some of the things that I've mentioned today. And then we're going to reconvene with our segment of Reveal, Reassure, and Restore to bring our love vibrations up higher. And I'll keep doing like little special videos as I did today to talk about special topics. If you want me to discuss any particular topics, please comment below, send us an email, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, HADAR, the Love Beacon Restored. Thank you all so much for watching, and I thank you for your support always. This is a challenge for me in itself to speak about the things that we all need to do as a collective to raise the vibration of love. So I thank you dearly for being with me and sending me the love that you all have been sending me. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.